Welcome to Secrets of Earth. I'm Patrick Viersba, your guide into the world's most remote corners. Today, we step onto the burning plains of East Africa to meet the architect of the Savannah, the African elephant. We often think of elephants as the heavyweights of the animal kingdom. 6 tons of bone, muscle, and gray wrinkled skin, moving in deliberate, ground-shaking processions across the open grassland. We see them as slow, ponderous, ancient, creatures defined by their scale and their patience. But there is a secret to the elephant that most people never witness. Despite everything we have said about their mass, these animals are ghosts. An elephant can move through dense bush in near total silence, placing each enormous foot with such precision that a 6-ton bull passes through a landscape of dry leaves and brittle grass without making a sound. And more importantly, they are constantly speaking in a language that the human ear is physically incapable of detecting, carried not through the air, but through the ground beneath your feet. Today, we are looking past the tusks and the trunks. We are going to explore the invisible telephone network that connects these herds across the savannah, the mechanical genius of a body designed to be both a crane and a surgeon's instrument, and one of the most ancient and surprising evolutionary secrets in all of mammalian biology. We are going to discover what the elephant actually is and what it was long before it ever stepped foot on the dust of the African plains. Imagine you are standing on the savannah and a silence falls over the land. Not the natural quiet of an empty landscape, but a specific, sudden stillness. The herd has gone still, heads slightly lowered, ears flat, feet pressed into the ground. You can hear nothing, but beneath your feet, the earth is humming. This is infrasound. Elephants produce vocalizations that fall below 20 hertz, the lower threshold of human hearing. A human ear can detect nothing below that frequency. We register it, if at all, as a faint pressure in the chest rather than a sound. To an elephant, it is a high-speed broadcast. African elephant infrasound calls range from approximately 15 to 35 hertz, with sound pressure levels that can reach 117 decibels, roughly as loud as a rock concert, produced entirely below the range of human hearing. Because low-frequency sound waves have longer wavelengths, they don't scatter when they encounter trees, hills, or other obstacles. They wrap around the obstructions and continue traveling. Under good atmospheric conditions, particularly the temperature inversions that form on the savannah in the early morning and evening, these calls can travel up to 10 kilometers through the air alone. But the air is only half the medium. The real secret isn't above the ground, it's in it. When an elephant rumbles, the vibration doesn't just propagate through the atmosphere, it transfers into the earth as a seismic wave. A ground vibration that travels through the soil and rock the way an earthquake signal travels through the crust. And the elephant has evolved a specialized system for receiving it. The soles of an elephant's feet are packed with Pacinian corpuscles, the same mechanoreceptors found densely in human fingertips, specialized for detecting pressure and vibration. In an elephant, these sensors are tuned to the precise frequencies of seismic communication. By pressing their feet firmly against the soil, or by leaning forward slightly onto their toenails, which act as additional sensors, elephants can detect seismic vibrations from other elephants at ranges researchers have documented up to 16 kilometers through the ground. Under ideal conditions, the same sensitivity may allow them to detect the low-frequency signals of major abiotic events, approaching storms, distant explosions, at far greater ranges. They are not simply walking on the planet. They are plugged into it, using the crust of the Earth as a communication channel. This seismic language is the nervous system of the most complex social structure in the mammalian world outside of primates. And at the center of that structure stands a single individual, the Matriarch. She is the oldest female in the group. She may be 60 years old or more, and in those 60 years, she has accumulated a library of knowledge that no other individual in the herd possesses. The location of every waterhole within her home range, the seasonal timing of fruiting trees, the safe corridors through the human-settled lands, and the history of every threatening encounter her family has survived. She is not just an elder. She is a living map. When an infrasonic signal vibrates through the soil, the herd looks to her. Research by Karen McComb and colleagues at the University of Sussex revealed that older matriarchs are significantly more accurate than younger females at distinguishing threatening from non-threatening social signals, including the ability to correctly identify the contact calls of strangers versus relatives, and to discriminate the roars of lions from the sounds of harmless large herbivores. When a herd is led by an older matriarch, it responds more accurately, wastes less energy on false alarms, and reaches water more reliably during droughts. She coordinates the movements of dozens of individuals and, through infrasound, maintains contact with family groups spread over many kilometers of open grassland, ensuring that groups don't converge at the same water source simultaneously and exhaust it. She is the keeper of the social map, and her knowledge is the most valuable asset in the herd's survival. The research also suggests something more poignant, that when a matriarch dies, the herd's collective intelligence is meaningfully diminished. Younger females who take over lack the deep archive of experience, and it shows in the group's decision-making. The loss of a matriarch is not just the loss of one individual. It is the loss of decades of irreplaceable environmental memory. If the elephant's feet are its ears, its trunk is everything else. Hands, nose, voice, and in some sense, the primary instrument through which it experiences and manipulates the world. To the eye, it looks like a long gray appendage. But under the skin lies one of the most sophisticated anatomical structures evolved by any land animal. A human body contains roughly 600 to 700 individual muscles in total. An elephant's trunk contains approximately 40,000, not in the whole body, but in this single organ. The number has been confirmed in peer-reviewed anatomical research published in Communications Biology. The trunk musculature is innervated by over 63,000 motor neurons in the African elephant, more than the entire spinal cord of many mammals. The trunk is what biomechanists call a muscular hydrostat, the same structural category as a human tongue. An organ with no skeletal support whatsoever, which achieves its strength and precision entirely through the coordinated contraction of muscle tissue arranged in every possible plane and direction simultaneously. This architecture is exactly what gives the trunk its extraordinary range of capability. At one end of the scale, an elephant's trunk can wrap around a 300-kilogram log and tear it from the earth with a force that rivals a hydraulic crane. It can uproot young trees, strip bark from mature acacias, and throw objects with accuracy and power. When used as a weapon in fights between males during must, the hormonal state associating with mating competition, it can deliver blows capable of killing. At the other end, at the very tip of the trunk, the African elephant has two prehensile projections, finger-like structures of muscle and skin oriented on top of one another that function as a biological pincer grip. With these, an elephant can pick up a single blade of grass. It can thread a finger length of vegetation from the ground without disturbing the soil around it. Researchers have documented captive elephants using trunk-tip precision to pick up a single kernel of grain from a flat surface. The same organ that can demolish a tree can thread a needle. The trunk also serves as the primary olfactory organ. The two nostrils running through its length give the elephant a sense of smell reported to be twice as sensitive as that of a bloodhound, capable of detecting water sources at ranges of up to 19 kilometers. It is a snorkel for river crossings, a showerhead for bathing, a trumpet for social signaling, and a caress for greeting family members after separation. It is used to touch the faces of newborn calves, to wipe the eyes of stressed companions, as we will come to shortly, to explore the bones of the dead. There is no other organ in the animal kingdom that performs this many distinct functions at this range of force and precision. It is a tool that has no equivalent in any technology humans have built. For centuries, the assumption was straightforward. An elephant is flat-footed. Look at the base of an elephant's leg, and you see what appears to be a broad, solemn column of flesh pressing directly onto the ground. It seems self-evident, but it is completely wrong. Elephants are walking on their tiptoes. Inside what appears to be the flat sole of an elephant's foot is a massive pad of fat and connective tissue, a biological shock absorber several inches thick that fills the space between the bones of the foot and the ground. The actual skeleton of the foot is raised at the heel in a posture technically called subungulograde, the same tiptoed stance used by horses, dogs, and cats. The flat-footed appearance is an illusion created by the fat pad, which expands as weight is applied, distributing force across the entire sole. The mechanical consequence of this is remarkable. Despite the elephant's mass, the fat pad spreads the pressure so effectively that the force exerted per unit area on the ground is far lower than the raw weight would suggest. An elephant leaves a lighter footprint relative to its size than almost any other large land animal. But the most surprising discovery inside that fat pad wasn't confirmed by science until a 2011 paper published in the journal Science by John Hutchinson and colleagues at the Royal Veterinary College. Hidden inside the fat pad, pointing backward toward the heel, like a rearward-facing strut, is a sixth toe. It is not a traditional digit with a claw. It is a modified sesamoid bone between 5 and 10 centimeters long, embedded deep in the heel tissue. Sesamoid bones are normally small structures embedded in tendons to reduce friction, like the kneecap. But in the elephant, this sesamoid has been co-opted into something functionally different, a structural support, pressing into the fat pad from behind. and providing additional stability to the back of the foot. It is the same evolutionary move made by the giant panda, which enlarged a different sesamoid bone into the false thumb that allows it to grip bamboo. Evolution, working with the same raw material in different animals, arrived at similar solutions. The sixth toe is part of why a 6-ton bull can cross a field of dry leaves in silence. The fat pad absorbs the impact, the sesamoid provides the stability, the tip-toed posture keeps the weight centered and controlled. The result is a gait of extraordinary quietness for an animal of extraordinary mass. Elephants are called pachyderms, thick-skinned, and in some places their hide is over an inch deep, capable of turning the thorns of an acacia or the bite of a predator. But if you look at the elephant's skin closely, what you see is not simply thick hide. It is fractured. The surface of an elephant's skin is covered in a dense network of fine cracks and crevices, a microscopic landscape of intersecting channels that gives it a deeply textured, almost geological appearance. For a long time, this was assumed to be simply the result of age, the skin drying and fissuring over decades of sun and wind. A 2018 study published in the Journal of the Royal Society Interface revealed it is something else entirely. The cracks are not random. They are formed actively by the elephant bending and folding its skin repeatedly over a lifetime, and the resulting network functions as a biological water retention system. When an elephant covers itself in mud or water, a behavior it engages in multiple times a day, these crevices trap the moisture and hold it against the body, allowing it to evaporate slowly over hours rather than minutes. The research found that the cracked skin retains roughly 10 times more water than an equivalent flat surface would. The practical effect is a cooling system that functions on the same principle as sweating, evaporative cooling, and an animal that does not actually sweat. The elephant can remain active in temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius in large part because its own skin is continuously releasing moisture into the air through this cracked matrix. The wrinkles are not age, they are engineering. We have seen how elephants use the physics of sound to maintain their social network, how their trunk achieves feats of strength and delicacy that no manufactured tool can replicate, how their feet are hidden architectural marvels. But the most profound secret of the African elephant may be the one that is hardest to define in the language of biology. When a herd encounters the bleached bones of a long-dead elephant, the scattered remains of a matriarch, or a young male taken by drought or predation, something happens that no one who observed it has been fully able to explain. The herd goes quiet. They slow, approaching carefully, and then they stop. Using those 40,000 muscles in their trunks, they begin to touch the bones, not sniffing them in the rapid, investigating way they approach unfamiliar objects, but touching them with a deliberate, slow attention. They run the sensitive tips of their trunks along the curve of the skull, the ridges of the teeth, the smooth surface of the ivory. They do not do this with the bones of other large animals. Researchers have placed the bones of rhinos, hippos, and buffalo in the path of elephant herds and observed little interest. They do it specifically with the bones of other elephants. They have been observed standing over the remains for hours, rocking the bones gently with their feet, and, in some documented cases, carrying fragments of ivory or bone for considerable distances before setting them down. There is no reproductive or nutritional explanation for this behavior. It does not help the living individual survive. It serves no function that biology, as we understand it, can currently account for. We do not know if elephants grieve in the way that that word means to us. What we know is that they recognize. Somewhere in the shape of a skull or a tusk, they identify something, a familiar geometry, a history that had a life in it, and they do not simply walk past it. They stop, they touch it, they stay. It is a reminder that the elephant doesn't exist only in the present. It lives in a continuum of family and memory that stretches backward through the herd's history. They are, perhaps, the only creatures on the savannah that refuse to let the past be forgotten. Perhaps the strangest secret of the African elephant is not in its behavior or its body, but in its ancestry. Because if you want to understand where this animal came from, you have to leave the savannah behind entirely. The elephant's closest living relatives are not to be found on the plains. They are found in the water. Genetic analysis has confirmed that the closest extant kin of the elephant are the Sirenians, the manatees and dugongs, along with the much smaller hyraxes of rocky African hillsides. All three groups share a common ancestor that lived roughly 60 million years ago during the early Eocene in what was then a shallow coastal Africa. Together, they form a clade called Paenungulata, embedded within the larger evolutionary superorder Afrotheria, a grouping of mammals whose ancestral home is Africa. Among the extinct relatives of elephants, there is a genus called Moratherium, which lived approximately 37 million years ago in the wetlands of North Africa. It was roughly the size of a tapir, lacked a trunk, and its anatomy, low-slung body, dense bones, and the position of its nostrils, strongly suggests a semi-aquatic lifestyle, wading and feeding in shallow coastal estuaries. It is not a direct ancestor of modern elephants, but it represents the kind of animal that the proboscidean lineage passed through on its way to becoming the elephant we know now. The evidence of this watery past is still present inside the living elephant today. The elephant possesses a unique lung anatomy found in no other land mammal. Rather than the pleural cavity, the fluid-filled space between the lungs and chest wall that most mammals have, the elephant's lungs are anchored directly to the chest wall by dense connective tissue. This arrangement eliminates the pleural cavity and provides structural reinforcement that allows the lungs to withstand the pressure changes that occur when the elephant submerges to swim or snorkel. Watch an elephant crossing a deep river with its trunk raised above the surface as a breathing tube, and you are watching a behavior made anatomically possible by a lung structure inherited from semi-aquatic ancestors. When an elephant wades into a river and disappears under the surface, swimming steadily for hundreds of meters with only the tip of its trunk breaking the water, you are watching a skill that is embedded in its architecture. The open savanna may be where the elephant lives, but the water is where its story began. The African elephant reminds us that strength is not just about what you can carry, but what you can remember. From the seismic signals traveling through the ground beneath their feet to the deliberate tenderness with which they touch the bones of their dead, these animals are defined by their connection to each other, to the landscape, to a deep past that reaches back to a shallow Eocene sea. They teach us that in the vast, harsh landscape of the Savannah, no one truly walks alone as long as the earth still carries the sound of their name. We share this planet with millions of stories, most of them unfolding in the silence of the deep or the shadows of the canopy. Thank you for journeying with me into the world of the African elephant. I'm Patrick Viersba. There are many secrets of Earth if you only know where to listen. I'll see you on the next horizon. Until then, follow our coordinates by subscribing to or following the show. It ensures you never miss a step into the unknown.